President Donald Trump is insisting that his health is fine. Thank you very much. His genetics are great. And also exercise is too boring to even consider. But according to recent reporting, including from the Wall Street Journal, his aides around him are still kind of concerned about some of the choices that he's making when it comes to his health. We'll have all the details, but Cenk, first, what are your 2 cents?
All right, folks, buckle up. We're diving headfirst into the latest circus act from Mar-a-Lago, where President Trump once again, is proving that when it comes to hypocrisy, he's not just the master. He's practically invented a new Olympic sport. We've heard him relentlessly mock President Biden's age and health, right? But what happens when the spotlight swivels and suddenly his own health choices are under the microscope? Oh, the irony. It's thicker than his blood, if you ask me. Today, we're peeling back the layers of denial, the bizarre dietary choices, and the truly wild medical advice, or lack thereof, that seems to be defining his approach to, well, everything. We're talking about a man who believes he has great genetics, while simultaneously declaring exercises way too boring and combining fast food monstrosities like it's some kind of culinary genius move. It's not just about his personal health. It's about the dangerous precedent he sets, the blatant disregard for expert advice, and the sheer audacity of projecting his own vulnerabilities onto others. So, get ready to laugh, cringe, or maybe even shake your head in disbelief, because we're about to unmask the incredible, unbelievable, and frankly, hilarious hypocrisies of Donald Trump's health crisis. Let's get into it.
Yeah, so first of all, I don't much care about Donald Trump's health, which is a controversial thing to say, but I'll tell you why in a minute, okay? But second of all, is Donald Trump lying about it? Did the sun rise today? Is it gonna, is it gonna set in a little bit? Oh, of course he's lying. The question is, which direction is he lying? So that's potentially important. So
maybe he's even healthier than he says, actually.
No, I don't mean that way. I mean like in terms of which health problems.
Oh, sure, I gotcha. Okay, well, so let's jump into some of what the Wall Street Journal has been saying. So he's the oldest man to assume the presidency. He's showing signs of aging in public and private, according to people close to him, and also according to everyone who watches him. I love that sort of quote. Like we can see how slowly he walks downstairs. We can see how much he falls asleep in public events. And so they investigated. They found a lot of different causes for concern. So the first is he's reportedly pushing back on medical advice from his own doctors, and I support him in that. Trump, don't listen to them. RFK Jr. is right. Docs don't know what they're talking about. Never ever listen to a doctor.
Hold on. Did you just hear that right? Never ever listen to a doctor? Oh, my sweet summer child. That's a take so hot it's practically glowing with fervent, anti-intellectual energy of 1,000 Facebook conspiracy groups. It's like saying never ever listen to a mechanic about your car. Just keep driving until the wheels fall off. You know your car best. Or better yet, never ever listen to a financial advisor. Just bury your money in the backyard. It'll grow. This isn't just a quirky personality trait, folks. This is a dangerous mindset, especially when you're talking about someone who wants to run the country. This I know better than the experts mentality is precisely how we end up with preventable crisis, whether it's public health disaster or, a former president thinking he can just wing it with his heart health because he had great genetics. Genetics are great, sure, but even Ferrari needs an oil change, buddy. The casual dismissal of medical professionals, especially when it's framed as some kind of rebellious act, is straight out of the RFK Jr. playbook, which, let's be honest, is less a playbook and more a pamphlet of pseudoscience and bad vibes. It's this pervasive distrust in institutions and expertise that erodes our collective ability to make informed decisions. It's not just about Trump's health. It's about the health of our society when we start telling people to actively disregard trained professionals, the experts. And let's be real. If I told my doctor I was ignoring their advice on, let's say, eating a diet of pure McDonald's and taking aspirin like it's candy, they'd probably stage an intervention, not applaud my independent spirit. But for Trump, it's just another Tuesday. It's a testament to the bizarre bubble he lives in, where reality is just a suggestion and expert opinions are merely inconvenient speed bumps on the road to, well, whatever he decides is true that day. So yeah, never ever listen to a doctor? Great advice if you're trying to win a Darwin Award, not if you're trying to lead a nation.
He gets very little sleep, and I think you should cut it down even more. Golf is his only form of exercise. I would say quit even that. Never get up from a reclined position, actually. So he could do other exercise, but he says, I just don't like exercise. It's boring. To walk on a treadmill or run on a treadmill for hours and hours like some people do, that's not for me. And that is, unfortunately, that's really only, you either play golf or you run on a treadmill. Those are the only two options. What else could you possibly do? God, he's so uncreative. But anyway, he apparently has told his aides recently he wants to have fewer scheduled meetings, but not because he's too tired, even though already his public events are about 40% down over the comparable period from the first year of his first term. He has a constrained number of hours that he does meetings in during the day. He doesn't start until like at least noon now. And so all of this not great. The exercise thing is a problem. Also, his diet is heavy on burgers and French fries. And one, I think, kind of wild bit of news. This came out of an October 2025 podcast interview that he did with RNC committee chairman Joe Gruters. So he talked about his experience with Trump on the campaign trail in 2024 and being kind of shocked by what the president ate. So he recalled that Trump, quote, had hot fries waiting for him from McDonald's. Then he had a filet-o-fish, a quarter pounder, and a Big Mac. Even more startling, the RNC chair said, quote, I think he combined two of them. And I don't even know.
It's the only thing I've ever liked about Trump.
I didn't know that was a thing you could do. Like as a kid, I'd combine two sodas, two cereals. What, did he put the Filet-O-Fish in the Big Mac? And just eat them one after the other. What is wrong with you?
Okay,
so look,
can I just say?
You have to. You have to say.
First of all, I just like a week ago combined Cocoa Pebbles and Captain Crunch.
Oh, that sounds good.
Okay.
Cereal you
I'm
combine.
not saying genius, but the streets are filled with people saying it. Okay. But
that does sound pretty good.
How do you combine a fillet of fish with anything?
He calls it the old surf and turf.
That's crazy. Look, they're burgers. Even that's a challenge. And I like combining things, but a fillet of fish with something? No, don't do that, brother.
Yeah, so look, some people are saying that's a lot of food for a 79-year-old man to be consuming. But I think that's coastal elitism.
Coastal elitism? Are you kidding me? So now caring about whether a 79-year-old man consumes a small nation's worth of McDonald's in one sitting is coastal elitism? Oh, give me a break. Come on, oh please. I guess wanting your arteries to not resemble a clogged plumbing system is not a bougie West Coast thing, huh? This isn't about what kind of avocado toast you prefer. It's about basic biological facts. This is the classic deflection tactic. When you can't defend the indefensible, you just label it with a buzzword that dismisses all legitimate concern. Oh, you're worried about heart disease. You must be one of those fancy city folk with kale in your kubacha. No, actually, I'm just someone who understands that a filet-o-fish, a quarter pounder, a Big Mac, and hot fries all combined is not exactly a recipe for longevity, regardless of your zip code. It's like saying, oh, you think jumping off a cliff is a bad idea. That's just mountaintop elitism. No, it's gravity, buddy. It's reality. And the reality is that diet is a one-way ticket to a cardiology office. Or worse, that diet was horrible. The idea that criticizing someone about their obviously unhealthy diet is somehow an attack on real Americans or a sign of elitism is just a pathetic attempt to weaponize class and regional divides against common sense. Let's call it what it is. A desperate attempt to normalize unhealthy behavior and portray it as some kind of man of the people authenticity, as if eating like a teenager on a dare is a badge of honor for a presidential candidate. It's not. It's a flashing red light, not just for his health, but for his judgment. Because if he thinks that is a reasonable way to fuel your body, what other unconventional wisdom is he applying to his governing? The guy thinks thin blood is a good thing. It's good for him, for crying out loud. So yeah, next time someone tries to pull the coastal elitism card when discussing basic health, just remember, Your body doesn't care if you live by the beach or if you're in a landlocked state. It cares about what you put into it. And a filet-o-mac quarter-pounder fries monster is not doing anybody any favors. No matter how many times you try to spin it, it is not a populist culinary triumph.
Trump, double down. Literally go to KFC and get a double down and combine it with your Filet-O-Fish. You should be eating this breakfast, lunch, and dinner, buddy. Put some extra tartar sauce on it. I think it's great for you. But anyway, there are also signs that his hearing is poor. He keeps looking like he's asleep during meetings, obviously. Although he says he's not falling asleep. He's just closing his eyes because it's relaxing and the media is catching him blinking. That one I think is a lie.
Okay, no. Look, that's my favorite. The thin blood we're gonna get to in a second is also awesome, but I'm not sleeping. I'm just blinking for long periods of time.
Yeah.
Come on. And what's awesome is that now that some of MAGA have begun to realize that he's a fraud, now they see it too and they're like, oh, Jesus, I believe this guy.
I know.
Right? And now these, oh, no, I'm just blinking. Hold on, I'm still blinking. Hold on. Okay, come on, brother. And look, don't get me wrong, fairest show in America, exercise is boring. Okay.
Look, yeah, but you play basketball.
Yeah, that's not boring, but
That's exercise.
I hear you, but the treadmill sucks, and it is, like, he's not wrong that exercise is not the most pleasant thing in the world. A lot of people think that. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean there isn't fun ways to do it, etc. And I'm so, like, you keep telling him to double down. I'm not as clear on that for a reason I'll get to in a second, but keep going.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of fun ways to exercise. I mean, and also he's super rich and like he could have like right-wing celebrities come and like power lift with him or something. Like he could get some of his like the Carolyn Leavitt clones or whatever to run alongside him or something. Like he loves watching TV. Dude, you can have a TV on while you're on the treadmill, by the way. So anyway, I don't think he's being that creative, but his skin is obviously delicate, hence his bruised hands. Also, there's reports of the aspirin that he takes every day. And he says, they say aspirin is good for thinning out the blood. And I don't want thick blood pouring through my heart. I want nice, thin blood pouring through my heart. Does that make sense?
No.
I cannot believe that that's an actual quote. That's the craziest thing.
No, I bet there's like a good solid percentage of the country that doesn't know the difference between thick and thin blood, and they might go, oh yeah, all right. But remember, the bell curve exists, right?
Yeah.
But for most people, like CNN bothered to bring out a medical expert. They're like, no, it's not whether your blood is thick like Campbell's soup or it's thin and nice and pours easily through your veins.
Yeah.
No, if you have thin blood, that could cause excessive bleeding, which is not a good idea. He's like, and it turns out, I don't know if you're about to get to this, but Trump is superstitious. And he's like, I've been doing this for 25 years, so I'm not gonna stop now.
Yeah, and the wild thing is, and this has never happened before, the medical advice has changed over 3 decades, and they don't advise you to do it. And also, he takes way more than they even used to advise people to take for that purpose. And it's not overall, it's not like you're gonna have Bisquick blood if you don't take the aspirin. It's supposed to stop clots. He's so stupid. But anyway.
Just hold on real quick. Medical experts say he's taking 4 times a healthy dose. So if you're actually pro-Trump, you should want to tackle him and go, no, brother, don't take that much aspirin. Don't, and look at what it's already doing with the bruises and stuff. Because some Trump voters still love Trump, right?
Yeah.
Then you should hate that he's doing this because it's quickening his demise. Or if you want to live on a different planet and endanger his health, just to make him feel better, it's a free country.
My concern is that he's the president, he's supposed to be busy, and he spent all of his time taking these pills. That's why you gotta be more efficient, man. Take a couple of bottles of aspirin, throw it in a blender, mix it up into a smoothie, take it, you got your whole year's supply. It's
With
just
the
a lot.
filet of fish.
It's much more efficient. Throw the filet of fish in there too. Anyway, so the Trump administration has said, nah, he's totally cool, don't worry about it, bro. Basically, they gave a summary of a Mayo Clinic AI-assisted analysis of Trump's electrocardiogram that estimated his cardiac age to be that of a 65-year-old. And let me just say, like, I don't like Trump or whatever, I've been very sarcastic here, but can they have a doctor look at his thing? Like, even the president just gets AI to look at it? Give an actual doctor. Anyway, he posted this. This will make everybody feel better. The White House doctors, capital D doctors, have just reported that I am in perfect health and that I aced, meaning was correct on 100% of the questions asked for the third straight time my cognitive examination, something which no other president or previous vice president was willing to take. They don't do. Again, it's a dementia test. You just took another one. They're giving him more like dementia tests than they give him MRIs even. It's not normal to take that many. Anyway, I strongly believe that anyone running for president or vice president should be mandatorily forced to take a strong, meaningful, and proven cognitive examination. Our great country cannot be run by stupid or incompetent people. President DJT. So I am reassured. Cenk, what do you think?
Yeah, so he said he regretted taking that ultrasound because it became a political issue. No, brother, again, if it was Bernie, I'd be like, take 10 ultrasounds. Like, I want you to be safe and healthy way more than I care about a news cycle where somebody said you had an MRI or an ultrasound. Who cares, right? I don't think that's simple. But he thinks the optics are actually more important than the substance on everything, even his health.
Yeah.
Right? Which is a very dangerous thing to think when it comes to your health.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why, like, a lot of this stuff, like, so he's got cankles. Okay, he's 1,000 years old. He's got cankles, whatever. The bruising on the hand, I do think that they're hiding some sort of procedure or medicine that he's taking. I don't like the dishonesty or whatever. Here's what I know. It ain't from shaking hands. That's crazy. Like, come on, like, seriously, if you're MAGA, okay, so let's say he shook 1,000 hands, which, by the way, have you ever seen him shake tons of regular people's hands? And yet he's had the bruising for like 2 years now. Let's say that was why it happened, and he got a big bruise. And there was all this critical news coverage about talking about him being a frail old man. Do you think he would ever shake another person's hand again and risk having that same thing? No, he can't stop it from happening. And the falling asleep, like a lot of people just joke about it. He's falling asleep. Do you have any idea how angry he is when he gets caught falling asleep in public because it makes him look like Sleepy Joe? He can't stop falling asleep in public. His aides cannot stop him from falling asleep in public. It's not about the fact that it's falling asleep, it's that they cannot stop it from happening, and that is kind of ominous, I think. He's just relaxing. He's just relaxing.
I was just blinking. Okay, so listen, nobody believes that it's from over shaking hands unless he shook the hands of the entire Knesset and everybody in Mossad, which is, well,
oh my God,
now all of a sudden possible. But okay, now in all seriousness, yeah, even MAGA knows that's not from shaking hands. He's taking too much aspirin or whatever he's doing. But like when he says, oh, but I got good genetics, a lot of the left freaks out because, oh, see, that's fascist and blah, blah, blah. No, I actually think on that one, he didn't catch a good break on mental genetics, if you ask me. Because if you keep confusing a cognitive test for an IQ test, you didn't win that lottery, right? Mm-hmm. But on the physical stuff, I mean, this brother's been combining filet of fish and quarter pounder and cheese his whole life, and he's still like an ox at 79, right? So like 79 is an advanced age. Mm-hmm. By that time, Dianne Feinstein's brain had almost fallen out of her ear by now. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so look, so I'm not worried about his health. See, like these are minor things, and if he turns out he screwed up and he didn't do enough exercise and he ate too much and then he dies because of it, well, that's on him, right? That's not like, it is what it is. You should be rooting, if you're MAGA, you should be rooting for him to be healthy. Me, here's what I think. Okay, one, I'm like so weirdo purist about stuff, so, and mainly about democracy. So the American people picked Donald Trump. They should get Donald Trump for the whole 4 years, and including the negative consequences. And then you go, okay, I reassess. Did that work out? Did that not work out, right? The second thing is, was like people on the left were like, oh my God, it'd be great if he died. Then you're gonna get JD Vance. How's that better? Like, I think JD Vance might be worse. Like maybe Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, like he's got the Israel and the tech and all the corporations, and he's smarter and younger. It'll be a more organized attempt at autocracy. Like Yarvin, their so-called philosopher that wants a monarchy, in other words, a dictatorship, says Trump was too slow. We should have done it right at the beginning and shock everyone. So if Vance comes in, Vance loves Yarvin. Is he then going to be like, shock and awe, let's go grab this thing? So Trump's the devil I know and the devil that was elected. So let's hope that he's okay, make it the whole 4 years and see what happens.
Okay, the devil I know, that's a sentiment I hear a lot. And look, I get the dark, cynic humor behind it. It's the political equivalent of saying, well, at least I know this leaky roof isn't going to suddenly explode into a black hole. But let's be honest, folks. Calling Trump the devil I know isn't exactly a ringing endorsement of American democracy, is it? It's a sad commentary of how low the bar had been set. The idea that we should hope a deeply flawed, potentially health-compromised individual serves out a full term because the alternative might be worse is, well, it's peak 2024. It speaks to a profound exhaustion and a sense of powerlessness that too many progressives feel. We're so scarred by the last 4 years that we're almost willing to settle for a predictable disaster over an unknown catastrophe. And the argument about J.D. Vance being worse? Look, I agree that a smarter, more ideological, coherent authoritarian figure is a terrifying prospect. Vance, Thiel, Musk, these are individuals with clear, dangerous visions for a technocratic autocracy, and they're not as easy distracted by shiny objects or late-night tweets. They're the kind of people who would actually implement the shock and awe dictatorship that Trump's former advisors fantasized about. But here's the thing. Hoping Trump limps through 4 years just to avoid a potential worse outcome is a reactive, not a proactive strategy. It's like hoping your current broken leg doesn't get gangrene because the doctor might prescribe an even worse surgery. It's ridiculous to even think that way. We need to be fighting for a future where neither of these devils are even on the table. We need to be building a movement so strong, so compelling, that these conversations about lesser evils become obsolete. We can't just cross our fingers and hope the devil we know doesn't completely burn down the house. We like the White House. We need to have actively push for systematic change, for robust democratic institutions, and for leaders who actually respect the rule of law and the well-being of the populace, not just their own ego and fast food cravings. So, while I understand the impulse, let's not get too comfortable with the devil we know. Let's work to banish all devils from the White House, period.
Yeah, I think that's worthy of like a full special, like which would be worse, because I have thoughts about. I do think Vance could be more dangerous in some ways. I also don't think he has some of the protective energy shields around him that Donald Trump has in some ways. But anyway, the final thing I will say about the whole health stuff is, I think it's interesting. All of this is very interesting. It's why I cover it on TDR, but mainly because of the dishonesty. Like I don't think that Donald Trump owes us constant revelations about his health or whatever. If he can physically do the job, then I think that that's pretty much enough. The only reason why I sort of think they should be more honest than they are is because they chose to make a massive deal out of it with Joe Biden. Well, first of all, there is the tradition of, actually putting out your medical information, and he, like with his taxes, decided not to do that. But then also, you guys can't talk about it for like 4 straight years, and then all of a sudden you don't care when it's Donald Trump. I mean, if you were consistent, and now you wanted to say, well, let's just get off of people's back about their health. Yeah, I don't think we deserve to know, what like brand of toothpaste Donald Trump takes or whatever. But I do think that there's some hypocrisy here.
And that, my friends, is the unvarnished, unfiltered truth about the president's health hypocrisy. It's a masterclass in projection, denial, and a complete disregard for facts, whether it's talking about medical or political. But hey, at least we got some truly wild stories about Filet-O-Fish, Big Macs, and thin blood, right? If this breakdown of political absurdities resonates with you, if you appreciate someone calling out the BS with a side of humor, then do me a solid. Hit that like button, share this video with anyone who needs a good laugh or a reality check, and definitely subscribe to the channel. We're here to keep shining the light on the absurdities, the injustices, and the outright lies that plague our political landscape, all from the perspective that we are not afraid to say what needs to be said. And remember, staying informed, engaged, and a little bit cynical is the best defense against the political circus. Keep fighting the good fight, and we'll catch you in the next one.